right. Good evening, everybody. Good afternoon. Good morning. Not sure where you're listening in from. Welcome to another episode of Fuel Stop Chats. I'm James. That's Chris. And tonight we've got
I'm
Steve
Steve.
Brooks. Steve Brooks comes to us from the Tour of Honor group. And it's Steve, why don't you tell us about it? Because I just found out about it a couple weeks ago from Rob. And wow, what a cool thing.
Yeah, Rob Carlo. Yeah, we honor American heroes and we go out and visit memorial sites around the United States. Generally, there are 7 in each state. Um, those are revealed on April 1st. And we have about 900 writers and on schedule to get 1,000 this year.
Wow.
And a number of them will be at their computers at midnight on April 1st, finding out where the sites are, so they can race out the door, make a quick plan. Oh, what do you got there?
I'm watching your clock, brother.
Okay.
Yeah, we saw that on the
27
website.
hours.
You got the countdown going on the website of
Yeah.
tourofhonor.com. Just clicking the seconds down.
Yes. So less than 27 days now. Till
Yep,
till it
27
kicks
days, 2 hours, 53 minutes, and 52 seconds.
Not,
But
but
who's
who's
counting?
counting? Who's counting?
off. Some
I'm-
people are. So,
I
I'm
am.
really curious, Steve. How did you come about putting this together? What was, I mean, I get the inspiration of, giving something back to the community of fallen heroes, but what put it together for you?
Well, I was invited to be in the 2003 Iron Butt Rally. And part of that rally, it was 2 years after 9/11. Part of the rally back east on the fourth and final leg was memorials and monuments. And Mike Kneebone and Lisa Landry put this theme together, and it just hit me in such a way that I thought, wow, if I can share that with others. So I talked with Mike about it, and he said, go for it. And this was like, what, 7 or 8 years after that my brother and I, brother Dave Brooks, we came up with this concept, a scavenger hunt type rally. And we started out with 7 states back in 2011. And now it's grown to all 50 states. There are so many people that the Tour of Honor depends on that we couldn't do it without. And a number of those are the state sponsors that come up with the memorial sites in each state, and they submit them to us, and we put them on a map, and and people really enjoy it. There's a lot of people that say it's the best excuse to ride that they've ever had, and or good excuse for a kitchen pass. So how can you say no to that?
Exactly.
But a lot of people is just hitting that first memorial site and then they get it. It's like, wow, this is really cool. And a lot of these memorial sites go unnoticed. They're put together by small towns, and the towns are really thankful for people coming in and honoring their local veterans. And one neat concept about the tour is the small towns that they're in, it gets people off the super slab and and onto roads that they've never visited before. Even if they've grown up in that state, they may not have gone on certain roads. So there's a lot of different aspects to it. And Rob Carlo, you mentioned Rob, great guy. He's a close friend of mine from California, and he and I were talking about a 9/11 ride. So this year, for the first time, we're featuring 9/11 memorials around the United States. So then we also have a cool award in honor of his brother that died that day. And it's a fireman's helmet. And that's going to be on a plaque, and that this will go to the writer that visits the most 9/11 memorials.
Wow.
So, and they'll probably visit, I estimate, between 200, 250 different 9/11 memorials. So the
Wow.
season is April 1st to October 31st. People can sign up at any time on the website and start doing it. So,
It's, we met Rob for the first time last week on the podcast. I mean, we've talked to him on and off through the Facebook group that he put together for long distance riders, which has been great because it has some levity in it, but you also see a lot of tips and tricks in there that you're just like, I never even thought about doing something like that. And it's been pretty inspirational. I had no idea of his background and the story that we were about to unfold last weekend. And it took me a couple days to really process it all, just to understand who he is as a writer and where he came from. So, him putting us in touch with you, I couldn't be happier with this podcast just because of the snowball that, Chris and I are seeing with the people that we're meeting through it. So
Yeah.
it's been great learning about these types of things, especially like this with the 9/11 memorial with the fireman's hat, and you're doing it after Rob's brother. That's just, yeah. Chris, I'm going to throw it over to you. I'm going to mute and shut up for a bit.
Go get some tissue real quick. I tell you what, it is, an incredible thing. I was just curious, Steve, when you guys are doing this, how many of the different states have you visited as part of your tour of honor? Do you get around to other states much to see all of the, the different ways people are coming in, and the state sponsor, so to speak, is creating these places to go? And have you had a chance to get to many of the states in that time and do that?
Yeah, not as much as I'd like to.
Right.
I know this September, every September, we have a ride to meet, except for last year. But this year it will be in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. So, oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, you're invited.
I do guided motorcycle tours based on American history. And I'm about 20 minutes from Gettysburg. I'm about 30 minutes from Antietam, and about 45 minutes from Harper's Ferry. So when you get in the neighborhood, please give me a holler. I'll show you around.
Oh, he's got
fantastic.
backstory. Yeah, Chris has got backstories that he's learned. He's almost a certified Gettysburg speaker. That I remember traveling around with Chris, and he had this book. It was like three Bibles packed into one.
It's on my desk.
Yeah, and there's some stories that he can tell you that is, like this memorial was put together, but the bust isn't in here because, well, I'll let him explain, but he knows this. Yeah, get with Chris.
Okay, let's keep in touch.
Absolutely, man. So you're coming, it's September. Are you going to ride to Shanksville then as well?
Yes, we will hit Shanksville. And you asked me earlier about what was the inspiration, and most of it was from the Shanksville Memorial, and that was 2 years after 9/11. And that's where it hit me in such a way that, wow.
Yeah,
it really blew me away. So we're going to hit Shanksville on the way in to Gettysburg and spend some time there.
I actually just got a call 2 days ago from the women that put on the Gettysburg rally, the bike week in Gettysburg. And they said that their guide retired and they were looking for somebody. And so I may be doing bike week in Gettysburg tour after tour, showing people around. But you guys get out here in September. I will definitely stay in touch with you. I got to get an email from you, and I would love to hook up and ride that with you. I'll take off.
Chris.
What's that?
I got his email. You're good.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So Steve, if you ever, I mean, you get bored, you can go to ridehistory.com and you can check out our website and stuff and see kind of the things we do. But would love to host you guys and, ignore the prices that are on the website for the tours. Cause you guys get into town, I'll show you around. No
All
joke.
right. Well, do you know Chris Comley? He's with the Iron Butt Association a lot. He's been in the IBR a number of times, and he's kind of lining up the itinerary for when we're there for all the writers. So there will probably be 100, 120 writers. And I remember one of them was a motorcycle tour of Gettysburg. So anyway, let's talk.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I was on my way. My wife had been sick on the 10th, and she asked me if I could stay home and go late to get the kids on the bus before I take off for work. And so I did. And so I got the kids on the bus, started heading to work, and she called me and she said, "Where are you?" And I said, "I'm about Frederick, Maryland, headed down to the Pentagon." She said, "You should turn around and come home." And so that was my September 11th. I was, I believe, I have faith, I think God had my wife ask me to stay home and get the kids on the bus and be late for going into meetings down there for a reason. So when I drove down there to see that memorial, and then, Shanksville, obviously, it gets me every time.
Yeah.
And so I think it's great what you guys are doing. And I think, I hope more Americans have long-term memory about these things than, I just, they can't be forgotten. Those people,
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons we're doing this, to honor those first responders that were there during 9/11, and on all American heroes. So
I have a quick question, just because, I look at all the states, I see the regions and how you've got everything broken out. And I know that you've been doing this for 10, 11 years. Have you ever had a state or a region that just, it didn't get met, that somebody did not get to all the places?
where they didn't visit.
Yeah, they didn't, there's one spot out in North Dakota, and you were still gaining traction on the concept of Tour of Honor. Have you ever had a region that didn't get all of the places met?
No.
That's awesome.
No,
All the boxes getting checked from the gate. That's what
dude,
I'm talking about.
motorcyclists we're competitive people, man. We're not going to let a monument go untouched.
I know.
Even in Hawaii,
Really?
we have sites in Hawaii. They used to be all 7 on the island of Oahu, but this year we're spreading it out between the 4 major islands.
Yeah, put the bike in the kayak and go on across.
The guys are going to have to make a trip, huh? That's awesome, man. Is there of the places that you've been able to get to as part of this, is there something that really, I know you mentioned Shanksville, obviously, but is there one of those, maybe a small town monument that really, really impressed the heck out of you that most people would not know about otherwise?
Well, we have one permanent memorial, and that's in Angel Fire, New Mexico, and it's for Vietnam veterans. And it's quite a story about that particular memorial, and I consider it a must visit for everyone, not just Vietnam veterans, but it's put in place by a local doctor whose son was killed over there, and it was in honor of him and his platoon that got wiped out. And it's a beautiful, beautiful chapel. There's a Huey helicopter there that it's very moving. Quick story about it. The chapel, they would shut it down at night, and they, sorry, I thought I lost you. They would shut it down at night until someone came and wrote on a piece of plywood leaning up against the wall. I said, "Why aren't you open when I needed to come in?" And since then, they've kept it open 24/7, the chapel. So
Wow.
it's quite a story. It's called the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Angel Fire, New Mexico.
I'll have to look that up. I've ridden through
Yeah.
New Mexico quite a bit, but now I've got something new to go look for.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, you know, with all motorcycling, I think it's about the stories you gather and the
Yeah,
people you
absolutely.
meet on the road. And I tell you, this Tour of Honor has just generated so many stories. You know, people that have met, and, you know, buddies they've run into on the road at a memorial that they didn't even know they were alive, but they were in the military together, and just a lot of stories.
I might have to ride west and meet you and ride home to Gettysburg with you guys.
I don't know
Oh,
why you're
that'd
just
be
not
awesome.
meeting him at Shanksville.
No, I'll ride out to Idaho, and when he takes off, I'll ride all the way back east. That'll be my leg home.
Hey, as long as you don't have to go across Kansas, I'll ride anywhere.
Yeah. There's always, there's always a price to pay, James. There's always a price to pay.
Yeah.
So what do you ride, Steve? What kind of bike do you ride?
It's a Harley Road Glide.
Road Glide. See, all the great long distance touring guys, man, they know the Road Glide.
Yeah, it's amazing how they've caught on in the last 10 years. Yeah, our wives are not looking forward to Nebraska and Wyoming and Kansas, but
Mine flies. I will ride from Florida to Colorado Springs, and she's like, Southwest will take me to Colorado Springs, pick me up there, and then she'll ride with me through the mountains. And you know, we did that. It was me, Ty. We did that. Both of our wives flew over. We did the Kansas trip on the bikes, picked up the wives, and then we did all the nice, you know, Colorado, Utah, did all that stuff. And then, oh, we're dropping them off in Albuquerque, and we're riding back, and they're flying back because they don't want to ride those long distances. I don't blame them. It's, you know, I am
for a passenger.
100% with my wife on the riding. I couldn't stand being in the back of the bike, not in control of whatever's going on, or it's just not being in control. And, you know, obscured view of the helmet. I couldn't do it. So I have no problem, you know, get on a plane. We'll meet you there.
So Steve, we always talk about these long trips, and you know, James and I, we've done some long trips, but you know, we got on the podcast with Rob, and he said I did 84,000 miles in 10 months, and he said I live in New York. And I was like, okay, I haven't done that, but you know, I'm doing 19,000 miles a year when I can get away from work. I'm not retired yet, so I gotta get somewhere in a hurry and see what I got to see, and then get back home. But James and I did an episode here not too long ago talking about packing for long trips and some of the tips and tricks. When you're doing your long trips like that, is there anything that, you know, like if there was one nugget you would share with somebody that was going with you for the first time, you know, what would you make sure and tell that person?
Right. Don't bring too many tools.
That's a bad omen, man.
I have half of my top case is tools.
You bring all those tools, you're going to use them. It's like the umbrella. Don't bring it out.
I don't want to be caught without it, though. That's me. I don't want to have to go and find that one tool that I know is sitting back on the bench.
Yeah,
I bring it all.
Yeah, good. I always bring up a backup 10mm socket. So.
The ever elusive and never found 10mm.
The ever elusive, never found.
I'm really blessed because my wife is a great packer. She doesn't need to bring all her makeup kit and And she packs real small, and
Yeah, my wife's the same way. She knows there's vacation packing and then there's motorcycle packing, and she's got that down to a science. She loves it. Uh, so I'm blessed to have her go with me on these trips because I know that she's going to show up light.
yeah.
I might have to strap a pair of shoes on the back, but for the most part, it's pretty light. And she's going to listen to this tomorrow morning, and she'll know I've strapped shoes to the back of the bike before for her. They were gym
Yeah.
shoes. They weren't like, go-go boots or anything. They were actual gym shoes for when we went hiking. But
We'll
Yeah.
just make a special shout out for Ro as she's listening to this tomorrow that James paid due homage to you. Mad respect for your packing skills. Steve had high praise for his wife if she listens to it tomorrow. Tammy, her idea of a motorcycle trip is to ride 20, 30 minutes, get an ice cream cone, and then ride home. That's it. So she goes to the ocean with the girls whenever I take my trips because she knows how much I just don't care to be sitting on the beach reading a book. I just don't.
Yeah.
It doesn't appeal to me at all.
Yeah.
But so when you said there's seven monuments per state, and only the one in Angel Fire that you guys it's always on there. But are the other states, how repetitive do they get over the course of, you've been doing this for 10, 11 years. How creative have they been?
That's a good question. We do recycle some from time to time. Last year, it being the 10th anniversary, we had like the best of the best.
Cool.
And over the past 10 years, and this year we have an all new selection. There's a lot of new memorials that have been dedicated in the last 5 years, and those are amazing pieces of art in some of these places that they're really showing the veterans respect. They're raising the money, and the American Legion posts are involved, and the VFWs in these different memorials, and it's really good to see. Yeah, there are some I can't give away right now, but
I have my pencil ready in case you slip.
we're going to have to edit some of this out. We can't
Yeah.
broadcast it.
So
all right. So welcome back to the show. Steve just told us what every single site was. Sorry. You can email me with $50 and I will send you the list. No, I'm just joking. We didn't edit anything out.
He did not divulge any secrets yet at all. And I'm sitting here looking at the clock. We're at 27:02 and
all right.
48.
We're still good. I haven't gotten my 10-minute warning yet. So how fast has anybody completed all of the sites in a state? Cannonball run style.
Dude, you can't be fair though. Look at Rhode Island. What is that? Like a county? I mean, it take you about 10 minutes.
Now, some states, I did say that states have generally 7 in each state, but there are a number of smaller states like in New England and mid-Atlantic states, including the District of Columbia, that only have 4 sites in each.
Okay.
New England sites, there's 6 states with 4 sites each for a total of 24 in that region. And mid-Atlantic, it's 4 states, so there's 16. But both the mid-Atlantic and the New England regions are sponsored by Jim Hatch. And he's a 5th generation New Englander. And he knows the restaurants and all of that. Most of the descriptions have a special Made in America section that I call it, where it will list a restaurant, a biker-friendly place. And Jim knows he knows all the diners, and so that's kind of fun. We're looking forward to exploring that area when we go back there.
Nice.
In Pennsylvania?
Yeah, Pennsylvania has 7 sites in Pennsylvania, but I'm not going to tell you which one.
And the state sponsor for Pennsylvania. I'll go look him up. No, it sounds like fun. I'm looking forward to it. I actually set a calendar thing for 11:50 to get it, make sure I'm in front of my computer at midnight on the 1st, so that I can start writing down the list. And I'm gonna try to hit the ones in PA, and it goes until October 31st, right? So
Yes.
maybe I'll get lucky and I'll get a trip out west, and I can pick another state or two to explore and knock off
Just
some
do a
of
whole
those as
region.
well.
You could just do the Northeast.
I'm not in it to race with anybody to see how many or whatever. I just want to do it for the point you brought up, and that is, Steve, just to go pay honor and see some places I wouldn't otherwise see. And I love that as a historian. It just that's the whole ride for me is made when I can do that.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, see, I'm in Florida, so I've got quite a distance. I looked at a lot of the past years, and there's something down in the Keys, and there's something up by Pensacola, and that's a lot of Florida riding. Oh, that's just brutal riding.
Yeah. It's Kansas with humidity.
and really bad drivers, because the drivers in Florida are absolutely horrible.
Kansas with humidity.
I don't ride. Everybody asks me, I said, look, man, once you've made Daytona Bike Week and you've hit the Keys, there's absolutely no other reason to be there.
Nope.
Well, Tampa Bay has some nice memorials.
Well, that's where I'm at. I'm in Tampa. But I mean, we have a pretty large military presence here. I mean, I'm ex-military. I was stationed here. That's how I ended up here. So between special operations and Central Command, we have quite a bit of heritage here. But but for riding motorcycles, it is not fun.
Pretty flat.
Flat and straight.
Yeah,
and you stop, turn right or left, and go flat and straight.
One other thing I thought I'd mention is there is a Tour of Honor app that will update on April 1st with all the memorials, and you can use your smartphone to take the picture for verification, and it automatically sends an email to the scorers.
Oh, right. In the app, you can take your photo.
Right.
So is that like on iTunes? I can just go out and get the app?
Yeah, it's iOS and Android.
Okay, perfect.
Just look for Tour of Honor.
No, that's fantastic. I'll add that app to my phone. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
So anything, that you want to share, Steve, about the Tour of Honor? Or I saw some other rides on there that look really killer too on your website. You've got the Forgotten Generation ride that was on there, and some others.
Yeah, American Doughboys. There's the app.
Yep.
American Doughboys, Huey helicopters, war dogs, and canine heroes. So there's a lot of memorials.
There's two dogs on memorials in Gettysburg, and great stories about both of those.
I didn't know that at all.
See,
I didn't either. You're
come visit me, Steve. I'll tell you.
I will. Yeah. Well, we'll be in touch.
Yeah.
And,
no doubt.
Just to go through it for the people listening, Tour of Honor, go to tourofhonor.com. You can sign up. The proceeds go to charities. And what were the charities that you have for this?
There's Fisher House Foundation, pretty well-known charity that builds houses for people visiting wounded soldiers in the hospital. There's Police and Fire, the Forgotten Heroes. They raise scholarship funds for fallen officers and firefighters. And Gold Star Family Memorials. They are building at least one memorial in each state, and a very cool organization that's led by a Medal of Honor recipient from Iwo Jima.
Wow, very cool.
He's I believe he's 96 years old,
Holy cow.
and still going strong. He's at every dedication, and his name is Woody. Drawing a blank on his last name.
That's
Sorry.
right. Woody, we're good. Yeah. I really like the aspect of the tour of honor. It's, for the military, it's for the first responders, but you're taking the proceeds and putting it to charities that is going to help the families of the people that are the first responders, that are the wounded warriors that are out there. Chris and I are both vets from the Army. We've known people that, you know, have had to use the Fisher House before. It's a great charity, and
Yeah,
it's something that's been there a very long, prestigious time.
I've got a Mopar buddy of mine that does a huge event every year for Fisher House. And he's had some of the bigs from Mopar come in and attend the events and stuff, and 100% of the proceeds go to the Fisher House. And so I've been familiar with that charity for a while. Fantastic organization. So
it is.
it's really good.
Very, very well run, and
Yeah.
so the writers can choose. There's part of the registration fee that goes right off the top to these charities, and they can choose which one
Oh, nice.
which one of the three their money goes to.
Very cool.
So you go to the website, you get logged in, you pay how much is it to register?
125 per writer.
$125.
Yeah.
You put that in the pot, and then you sit and you wait until 27 days.
Something like that. Yeah.
So 1 April hits, the information goes out, and if you want to be first, you better be moving right then and there. But you don't have to be first. It's not a race.
No.
It's not a race at all. You have until the end of riding season, until October 31st, to have that personal swagger inside to say, hey, I hit all these things.
Yeah, and people can sign up after the first. They can sign up, in October if they want. But so
Now, for the riders that get it done first, what happens with the riders that get it done first?
the first three in each state will get a trophy. So, and sometimes people ride together, so that's counted as a tie.
Okay.
And so they might share the first place trophy together.
Oh, nice.
If there's a big group, everybody is entitled to a trophy, but then we charge for after the fourth trophy. So yeah.
Well, yeah, you're not there to give out 100 trophies for the same place setting.
Yeah.
So I get that. So we got about 2 minutes left. I just want to say again, from me, thank you for agreeing to come on the podcast. Thank you for putting something like this together. I'm amazed at all of the different things that I learn about each and every day within the rider community. And I've been riding for 40 plus years. So, being able to dig stuff up like this and meet people that connect me to another person that's doing something else that's really cool. It's just been amazing. And it's been a great time.
Yeah.
It's the best time I've been having not being on the bike that's sitting behind me. And it's, talking about motorcycles, talking about rides and routes and the people that go with it. I mean, that's why we call it Fuel Stop Chat. So Chris, I'll kick it over to you. We got like 2 minutes left. I'm just going to shut up. Steve, thank you.
Thank
Now,
you.
just want to echo James's thoughts, Steve. I'm really excited about what's going on with this Tour of Honor. I'm so happy that Rob mentioned it and turned us on to it. I can't thank you enough for taking the time to spend with us. And please be sure, and I'll get James to give me your email. And when you guys come out here in September, I definitely want to connect with you in Gettysburg.
Great. We'd love to have you there.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks
All right.
again.
Thanks you
again
for sharing the good word and for doing what you do. So really
appreciate it. Well, Chris, Steve, rider out.
Rider out.
Rider out.